Hey, what's good guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today, I'm just sharing with you guys what I picked up on Black Friday. It actually was not an in-store purchase. I refuse to go out when it's Black Friday during the daytime or outside anytime when it's Black Friday because gets crazy. So what I ended up doing was staying online. I wasn't even planning on buying something, but I saw something that I've been eyeing for a while. I just didn't want to pay retail price for them. And I saw them for a pretty decent discount. So of course I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I paid $50 shipped for these, which I think is a great deal. A lot of you guys are going to be roasting me in the comments though. I already know because a lot of y'all are brand jocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be mad. Just admit it. You refuse to go outside of the Nike, Jordan, popular brand like spectrum. That's not me though. And this is what I got. Yeah, you guys are probably already commenting, he bought Walmart shoes for $50. They're not Walmart shoes, man. It's just some And-Ones. They do have And-One shoes at Walmart, which I think is awesome for people that cannot afford really expensive sneakers. Of course, some snobby rich kids are gonna think otherwise and start making fun of him. It's okay. You proceed to be you, and I'll proceed to be me. But I think that these are really, really dope. It's basically a new version or a remix version of an old classic, and it's these right here. This is what And-One is calling the M2, which is kind of interesting. So earlier this year, And-One actually re-released the original Marbury 1. They weren't re-released like in original form, but it was pretty close. I actually have a pair. I do really like them. And these guys right here are the M2. The M stands for Marbury, but he's no longer signed with And-One, so they can't use his name. Otherwise, I got to pay some royalties. And the 2 represents that this is the second version, or part 2, I guess. Even though back in the day, they actually had the Marbury 1, and then they had the Marbury 2. The Marbury 2 I did not like. I thought that those looked like a running shoe for basketball, which I personally wasn't a fan of. These, on the other hand, this is like a really nice blend between the Marbury 1 and 2, along with the brand new And-One tooling. The traction right here is herringbone. The heel is not anything. I don't know what to call it. It's just kind of a weird pattern. It's flat. Not a big fan of this section. Luckily, I mostly used this section of my foot, so this never bothered me. I did use this outsole and midsole before. These are a couple of wear test samples that I have of, I can't remember what the shoe is. It's some low top that is available now. They reuse the tooling here. It's what a lot of brands do with lower tier models. That way they can save money reusing the tooling, and then they'll, put on new uppers so that it kind of looks like a new shoe every time. Brand Black does it, Nike does it, Adidas, Reebok, all these brands do it, and it's commonplace within the sneaker world. However, these are samples. They were not retail pairs, so each one of these felt different. I was wear testing these for And-One, and I gave them my feedback and all that stuff, and then I've yet to play in a pair that's for retail or available at retail, which is what I'm glad I picked these up for. And the other shoe that I used them in was these guys right here. This one was the first pair that I played in, and these, just feeling these two in hand, these are like so much lighter. I think the foam is way different. The rubber compound on here is a little bit different, all that stuff, but this is the Tai Chi 3, I believe, which is also a classic sneaker, the And-One Tai Chi. This is their third rendition of the shoe, otherwise known as just like a modern take on an old classic. But these were really awesome on court. The low tops, I wasn't a huge fan of the collar. It kind of cut me up a little bit. These guys feel great though. And then they have the EVA midsole, which is a basic foam. This one feels really, really nice. Like I said, those other 3 samples that I have, the Tai Chi 3 mid, those ones have like a super lightweight foam. The other 2, they were pretty dense. So all 3 of these shoes have felt differently on foot. This one feels like it's got kind of like the best blend of both. It's got a little bit of bounce back or give to it. But on foot, they feel real comfortable from a try-on perspective, but I am excited to play in these just to see how they feel. I mean, they can't be any worse than something like the Curry 4, you know what I mean? Like, those have like almost no cushion whatsoever. So I'm expecting a little bit more from this shoe right here. Now the upper on these guys is actually the nicest upper on an And-One shoe that I think I've ever had since the original Tai Chi's. The back section and the eyelet panel right here are just basic synthetics. The rest of the shoe is actually made up of mesh, which I thought was really interesting. Again, the samples that I have, they do feature mesh uppers and stuff like that, but behind it there's different materials. So it's not full on mesh. It's not like the best setup or anything like that. It's a cheap shoe, which is what they were meant for. They're meant for budget options, but these are not like a nice mesh, and that's what these guys are. These are actually like a really nice kind of engineered mesh, which I was just surprised about. And then the overlay areas right here on both the medial and lateral side is a really thin fuse. It's kind of stiff to start, but when I tried them on and flexed, they moved really nicely. It wasn't like anything too restrictive or painful. It didn't dig into my feet. And these are at high wear areas as well. You got a lot of lateral, I wouldn't say containment, but just supportive sections of the material. The containment's going to come from this little little swoop right here as your foot actually rests about halfway through that midsole area. Not only that, but the design features right here are basically mimicking both the original Marbury and the Marbury 2. You have that mesh upper from the Marbury 2. You have those lines right here, which a lot of people are going to be correlating with an Air Jordan 12, but it was also on the Marbury 1. And these are just design features that I really like on any shoe. I've seen them on shoes, like every brand's got something like this, and every time I see it, I just always think it's great. I think it looks great from a toe down view, which basically when I'm wearing them, I'm looking down. This is what I see, and I think that this looks awesome. The lacing structure is also really nice. You have 3 different zones, which I think is really cool for an AND1 shoe. There was a lot of thought put into this sneaker. So you have this one flap right here, and that's going to contain pretty much the forefoot section. And then you have this cutout right here for some flexibility, and then you go into the second zone right there, and that's basically right below the ankle. And then underneath that, you have another cutout where this entire heel portion is an independent piece. Well, I mean, it's not completely independent, it's attached to the shoe, but you have 1, 2, 3 zones right there. And this section is for that ankle or heel lockdown. And then you got this little guy right there in the back. That's also another callback to the Marbury 2. And that's basically ensuring that your heel is locked into the back of the shoe right there for the most optimal heel containment, which is pretty much what ankle support actually is. It's not the collar height of the shoe, it's actually how your foot is contained in the rear of the sneaker, which can happen in both a high or a low. And then right along the trim of the eyelets right there, some 3M reflective piping. Again, another callback to both the original Marbury 1 and the Marbury 2. And I think that they did a fantastic job with these. I've always liked the way that this shoe looked. Like I said, I was just waiting for the right price, and $50 for me was perfect. I'm actually going to be playing in these. I hope to do a performance review. A lot of times when I play in a shoe like this, like I'll test it just for my own personal like curiosity, and then I'll forget to actually do a review. So hopefully I remember to do that. But that pretty much takes care of it. This is the AND1 M2. This is my Black Friday pickup. I know it's not anything special. It's not an off-white shoe or some stupid hype beast sneaker. This is a real shoe from a real classic brand that a lot of people just discount right off the bat because of the fact that they sell some even cheaper models in Walmart, which is completely respectable. But let me know what you guys think about these down below in the comment section. How do you think that they look, honestly? If there's a Jordan logo right there or a swoosh or something like that, I already know that y'all would either roast them but still buy them, but because they're AND1, you're gonna roast them and not buy them. But let me know what you think about the look, because you gotta admit, this is the cleanest looking AND1 shoe that they've put out in a long time. A really long time. It feels like the 90s are back. I love it. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for your support. Sound off in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, have a good one. What's good, guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today, I'm just sharing with you guys what I picked up on Black Friday. It actually was not an in-store purchase. I refuse to go out when it's Black Friday during the daytime or outside anytime when it's Black Friday because it's crazy. So what I ended up doing was staying online. I wasn't even planning on buying something, but I saw something that I've been eyeing for a while. I just didn't want to pay retail price for them. And I saw them for a pretty decent discount. So of course I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I paid $50 shipped for these, which I think is a great deal. A lot of you guys are going to be roasting me in the comments though. I already know, because a lot of y'all are brand jocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be mad. Just admit it. You refuse to go outside of the Nike, Jordan, popular brand like spectrum. That's not me though. And this is what I got.